Hi, everyone. My name is Celine, and I'm the founder of Flowly. We're a mobile platform for chronic pain and anxiety management. We basically teach users how to control their heart rate and their breathing to better manage symptoms around pain, anxiety, and even sleep. A lot of people say it's kind of like meditation for those who have trouble meditating. You know that there's a huge intersection with anxiety and pain population, with what's going on with COVID, and especially with what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. And we felt it was our job to highlight voices in our community that otherwise aren't given the platform historically in the healthcare system. And that's why I'm really excited and grateful to introduce Myiesha. Myiesha is a chronic illness warrior. She's from Indiana, but grew up in Florida. She has lupus, but is also an advocate for lupus. And she's kind enough today to join us to share her story. So without any further ado, thanks for joining us, Myiesha.
Hello.
Awesome. So I thought we would start at the beginning of your journey. When was the first time you started experiencing symptoms from lupus, and what was that journey up to your diagnosis?
When I first started receiving symptoms from my lupus flares, it was about fourth grade, around fourth, fifth grade. It first started off with just like joint pain in my knees, joint pain in my hands, and in my arms. And it just like progressed as the years went on. It was first diagnosed and looked at as junior rheumatoid arthritis. So my child physician used to always prescribe me ibuprofen for my pain. Once like more symptoms started to come on, a family member of mine mentioned that it ran in the family to get it looked at. And we went from there.
Was it several years later that you actually got the lupus diagnosis, or was it hard to get diagnosis? I'm sure, because I know speaking to a lot of our community, especially women in the space, they often get misdiagnosis in the process. Was that something you experienced?
Yeah, I didn't get diagnosed with lupus till I was actually 15. I started a summer job and I began to flare in different ways. Like I was a really tiny girl and I was flaring to the size of a woman half my size, or more of my size.
Did you feel a lot of pain, like physical pain in your body when you did have flare ups?
I did. I was to the point where I could not feed myself. I just couldn't do anything but lie down.
You were really relatively young when you were diagnosed. So when you were 15, did that change your experience being in school? Because having a autoimmune disease and chronic illness at that young age, I'm sure it affected how you had to behave, or maybe how people behaved around you.
It didn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do, but it did change how I was able to do things. I was really active in junior high. I did a little bit of basketball. I did a step team. And to go on to high school, I did cheer my 11th and 12th grade year. So it didn't stop me from doing things, but it did have an effect. I can say that I had a lot of support. Some people changed the way that they viewed me. Like some people may thought that I couldn't do this because I had lupus, and I didn't like limitations. Like I don't set a barrier for me. You wanting me to push more is more of help than you saying you can't do this because you have this. Like no, that's not encouraging.
Do you feel like being a sort of young Black woman has changed, or how has that shaped how you manage lupus, whether it's how you interact with doctors, nurses, or maybe even just like your classmates or people around you?
I feel like Black people in general are strong. They have to be strong. They start off with limitations. Like we have a different standard than other people, I believe, and I see. So I feel like when we do something, we have to do it 10 times harder. They just perceive that we are stronger than we are, like that we can take the pain.
That's backed by data, where they did a survey and around 50% of medical school students and residents thought that African Americans experience less pain. And that's just not true. And so it definitely affects, especially a young person going through the healthcare system, and you have a chronic illness that does exacerbate a lot of pains, physical pain. And then you have to sort of fight for medication or alternative sources to help manage that pain, which is insanely unfair on any young person, let alone a Black person, let alone a woman of color.
As when I was younger, they prescribed me ibuprofen. So it was because I was too young that I couldn't get anything more than ibuprofen for my intense pain. And now that I'm older, it's like, try Tylenol. Maybe that will work. No, the Tylenol don't work. So I'd rather not take the pain medicine at all. I'd rather I'm going to have to deal with it anyway because you're not giving me anything to manage that pain. It's best trying like natural things, natural remedies, because they feel like we can't take pain, so they don't give us the pain medicine to manage it. It's like, I want to ask you for pain medicine, but when I do bring it up, you're telling me to try taking Aleve, try taking Tylenol. And I'm telling you those things aren't working, so I don't want to bring it up again because I brought it up before. So at this point, it's like I'm begging for pain medicine. So I'd rather not ask you at all.
It's so frustrating because we hear that from so many of our users in our community. And a lot of people think it's ironic because we are a digital health company doing an alternative form of pain management. So why would I advocate for people to get medication? And from our team's perspective, working with so many people that are in pain, that do have chronic illness, there's no magic bullet to how you manage your chronic illness and pain. What people need is the empowerment to ask for tools that do help them and then be able to explore and maybe integrate different types of pain management tools. And it's really unfair when a certain population, women, and especially women of color, aren't given access to these full array of different tools. Right? Because I'm sure like growing up, did you feel like doctors would introduce you to like new types of pain management, or had you tried anything like Flowly before you tried Flowly?
I haven't, and I actually love it. It gives me time to, I take time to myself at night and I actually meditate with it. I do all the exercises that it offers. And it has really helped me in the last week that I've been using it. I have been having trouble sleeping these past couple of days. And when I entered the app, the man that's talking is like, it's soothed. It gets you in an automatic relax.
Oh, good. Talking about, all these different tools, how do you manage your lupus today? What are some tools that have been helpful in your journey thus far?
The main thing I do is I stay to the schedule that I stay consistent with the medication that I am supposed to take. So that's easier when it comes to dealing with the pain that comes by itself. If you're doing your part and taking care of your body, then you can knock out some of the pain. Not all of it, but some.
And I know this, I think, is amazing that you have plans to be a gynecologist. Yeah. Well, can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to become a gynecologist? And are you starting your studying soon, etc.?
I'm actually not in school right now. I'm actually on a break because I wanted to take a break and get my health back in order. But I do want to become a gynecologist. I've always been interested in childbirth. I'm more so interested in home childbirth. A childbirth is more of a personal relationship between the parent and the family, a bonding tool between the family. So that is something.
Do you feel like growing up around a lot of doctors or in the hospital helped inform your desire to want to become a doctor, to kind of, be part of that system or be part of that ecosystem?
Yes, I feel like I can make it better because I've seen like how great doctors treat me. I've seen how horrible doctors treat me. I've seen how great nurses treat me. I've seen how horrible nurses treat me. And I see like what the healthcare system needs. And I'll add to it.
And I definitely think there needs to be more women of color and Black women who are gynecologists. Is there any information or resources you'd like to share with people, either that has helped you with your lupus, so maybe someone who's newly diagnosed with lupus, or maybe it's for people who aren't aware of lupus and just kind of need to learn more about it?
Lupus.org. They're very informative.
Thank you, Myiesha, for joining me today. I really, really value your voice in this overall experience and story of all these invisible illness warriors and chronic illness warriors, because there's not enough Black voices in this community. And even when I'm on Instagram or on social media, I see that there is a lack of diversity in the people that are advocating for it. And it really affects lupus itself, disproportionately affects African American and Hispanic women, especially in the early stages of their life. And so definitely think there needs to be more advocates like you. So I really appreciate you speaking out.
Yes, I wish that it was more people around my age when I was first diagnosed, because I was lost. I didn't know the effects that this disease could have. So it would have been nice to have someone my age to give me a perspective of what I was entering into.
How can people find you, Myiesha, on social media, online? How can they follow your story?
I am on Instagram at MYIIESH two underscores on Instagram. And on YouTube, I am Myiesha Trumpler. You can find me at Myiesha Trumpler.
Thank you for joining me, Myiesha. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a chance to hear my voice.